friends, I just finished reading 5 books in 5 days, so I have a lot of journaling to catch up on, so I figured why don't I just bring you with me. In this video, I will be finishing up my March reading journal updates and starting my April spread, and I figured there was no better time to film a long form video, so I shall not dawdle. Let's get into the journaling. This is definitely going to be a longer, chattier video. Since I usually just do 1 book entry per short, I'm going to be doing 5, and then I'm also going to be setting up my April TBR page. This might be a little bit long, but hopefully if you're watching this video, it's because you're interested in reading journal content. We're just gonna go through page by page because there are a lot of updates I need to make. I do come prepared though. I have my little post-it note with all my monthly stats. I have all the books I need to track and all their information. So we're gonna actually start here with our 2026 best books. Since March is over, I have to select my favorite read of the month. I was actually between 2 books for my favorite of the month, The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgkin and So Far Gone by Jess Walter, which was unexpected. I haven't seen anyone talk about this, but I think I'm gonna go with The Raven Scholar. It edged it out just the tiniest bit, so I'm gonna glue that into our March spread. In my monthly tracker, I have to add 5 more books. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would get us to 16 total books that I read in March. That's literally insane. As you could see, I usually don't even make it past 15. So the fact that I was able to make it all the way to 16 is just unheard of, frankly. It's because of my reading 5 books in 5 days blog that obviously put me over the edge, but honestly, I'm even shocked. Okay, and I just love seeing how this bar chart works out by the end of the year. And then I'm gonna go in with my bookshelf spread, and then I'm gonna track these 5 books. So we have my list of books here. We have horror, fantasy, sci-fi, horror, sci-fi. Okay. And in the front of my journal, I just have the color for each genre so I don't use the wrong one by mistake. So we have horror, fantasy, and sci-fi. Okay. Dokie, looks good. I'm gonna go in and fill all of this in my reading log. I'm not gonna make you sit through that, so just 1 second. Okay, and there we go. We've actually made it to the 2nd page of our reading log, so that's pretty exciting, although we still have some more room for that. Here in my which days I finished a book spread, we're gonna do the last 5 days of March, since that was the point of the challenge, was to read 5 books in 5 days. So from the 27th to the 31st, I finished a book, which again, I still am flabbergasted that I was able to do that. I've been reading a lot more normally now. I'm not rushing so much. Here on my series tracker, we read the 2nd book in the Broken Earth trilogy, so that's The Obelisk Gate, and I have written down next to it the color I used, so I could just pull that from my markers and color that in as completed. And actually I'll need to add a section for The Raven Scholar since that's a trilogy, but since the 1st book is out so far, I'll just leave it as is for now. We'll skip ahead to my alphabet challenges. For Y in our book alphabet challenge, we'll do You Did Nothing Wrong, the C.G. Drew's book. And then for my author alphabet challenge, we're gonna do J for N.K. Jemisin. And then we're gonna do my author gender and my fiction versus nonfiction. 3 female authors, 1 male author, and 1 non-binary. And then in fiction versus nonfiction, all 5 of these books were fiction, clearly. I read a lot more fiction than I do nonfiction, although I do try to read at least 1 nonfiction a month, and I've also been trying to get into some more memoirs I've been enjoying. 4, 5, okay. Here on Book Tetris, like I said before, we had 1 fantasy, 2 horror, and 2 sci-fi blocks. So let's do that. Y'all are gonna think this is so excessive. Well, I mean, probably not my long form people because you're here watching this whole video, but boy, did people have a problem with how much tracking I do, as if this wasn't just, you know, a hobby for fun that nobody's like forcing you to do. It's just something I'm doing and it's the internet, so you could just not watch, ever consider that. No, the truth is they haven't considered that. But the people who get it, y'all get it, right? Maybe it's a little much, but I'm a little much. Dude. Oh, you know what? I messed that up, and that's gonna drive me crazy. Roll with the punches, I guess. I'll have to fix that at some point. In the meantime, it'll just drive me crazy. Or I'll have to read a horror book to fix it. Yeah, remind me to read a horror book just so I can fix this. Should I just try to cover it up? I feel like that's gonna make it look worse. Okay, we're just gonna ignore it for now. We'll just do a fantasy here. 1 will fit perfectly right here. And I know this one is not like an actual Tetris block in the game Tetris, but there aren't enough Tetris blocks, so we're just, you know, doing our best. So there's one, and we'll do another one up here. We're gonna go onto our trackers, which have again been called excessive. Not that I'm being petty, but we're gonna do the genre tracker. As we've said, we have 2 horror, 1 fantasy, 2 sci-fi, and I use the same colors as I do in my bookshelf spread, so I could easily go in and do that. I honestly love this spread because it helps me see what genre I'm reading the most of. I know I read a very wide array of genres, and I just like to kind of see the trends of which genres I'm most enjoying at the time. Like you could tell this year, I've been reading a lot of fiction, where last year this was probably much, much lower. So I find it just fun. Not that I have to explain myself, but that's how I'm explaining myself. And here in our page count tracker, we're gonna have to do 2 in the 200 range, 1 in the 300 range, 1 in the 400 range, and 1 in the 600 range. So we'll have to choose a color for the 600. And for the 600 range, let's delineate a color. We'll do this one, 44. Even though it's pretty similar, if not the same color as the 0 to 99 range, which is usually just for novellas. Okay, we'll do our rating tracker. 1 3.5 rating, 3 4-star ratings, and 1 5-star rating. Nailed it. 4 paperbacks and 1 Kindle. Again, if you're doing a reading journal and you don't care about this information, then don't track it. I just like seeing it all. Read the decades. I have In the Miso Soup was published in the 90s, I believe. Let me fact check that though. My fact check was indeed correct. In the Miso Soup was originally published in the 90s, obviously as a Japanese novel before it ever was translated, but I'm counting it. And I swear I can never get my line straight. It's kind of embarrassing. I know this page is still empty. I've just been too lazy to print out any pictures of covers. Like honestly, look, we have Raven Scholar here, could be purple. In the Miso Soup could be red. I've been lazy. Okay, my arcs log. You Did Nothing Wrong was an arc. So let's cross that out. We're making good progress. I'm a little bit behind on this because I have a tendency to request too many arcs and then get approved for too many of them and then fall behind when they're all published at the same exact time. But we're sort of up to date. In my book bingo, I am gonna cross off a translated novel for In the Miso Soup. And I know people don't like the sound of the marker. don't watch the video then, or turn the volume down. I don't know what to tell you. For this page, I'm going to do the fantasy block since I really enjoyed the Raven Scholar. I'd like to see that represented in this spread, so we'll do fantasy. And I know I could already cross off quite a few of these, but I like to make this challenge a little bit harder and not immediately cross off each one, because I know I read 2 sci-fi books and I could just cross off sci-fi. But in my head, that's too easy. I have to spread it out across the entire year and, you know, spread the love, I guess. Again, in your own book journal, you can do it however the heck you want, but I have very specific ways I like to do it. I also have these colored pens that I haven't been keeping up with, denoting which novel is for which. But let me really quickly write in the ones I can remember. So we have the Raven Scholar. So here we have my TBR tracking pages. So I've already written all these down so I don't have to remember. I'm starting April with my library TBR, so my note on my phone of books I want to take out from the library, as a 92. So that was -1 from March. I only read 1 book. I read several books in my library, but only one of them was on that list. On Libby, that list has gone down to 76. So -3 for there. For my GoodReads TBR, I am down to 132. Sorry, my phone stopped recording, but we are back. I read 8 from my GoodReads TBR, but I actually added 4. And my physical TBR, I read 5, but added 1, so we're down to 59. And the total, I actually forgot to write that down. Whatever the math is, I'll add that in after. I read 5 books off my physical TBR. I read 1 audiobook. That's usually I do my nonfiction book as an audiobook. From Libby, I read 3 books. I read 4 books from my library, 3 ARCs, and 0 from my Kindle library. Honestly, y'all, Kindle Unlimited is a scam. And my total books was 16, which is a new record for me. And the page number is, oh, I don't have it written down. One moment. I've gone and done the math. So our total over here was 359. So we are down 12, which is great because last month was plus 14. We're back to our original total. Great progress. And our total page number over here is a staggering 6,301 pages. That is just bonkers to me, honestly. Let's carry on. We are close to the end. Here in our best book bracket, we can put the Raven Scholar for March. And I hypothetically could start bringing books to the second bracket, but I have commitment issues, so I feel like I'm just gonna let it simmer a bit more so I could sit with the books and decide what's gonna move on and what's gonna stay behind. Here we have my publication tracker. We are going to have 3 entries for the 2020s, 1 for the 2010s, and 1 for the 90s. We are now into the monthly spreads, so we can cross off every single one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna go ahead and also fill in the stats here in case you weren't tired of stats yet. Here's even more. In March, I read 16 books across 10 different genres. Oh my goodness, she cannot be stopped. 1 romance book, 2 nonfiction, 1 manga. Shockingly, it was not Yona of the Dawn this time. It was Fruits Baskets Volume 1. 1 classic, 2 historical fiction, 1 general fiction, 2 mystery thrillers, 2 fantasies, 2 horror, and 2 sci-fi. I am a fiction lover through and through, clearly. Oh my goodness. My average star rating was actually a perfect 4-star. I completed my TBR 100%, yes, as I've made abundantly obvious. And I read 6,301 pages. So now I have to go in and fill out 5 of these, although I'll probably just do the picture and the stats for now. I might not do the actual blurbs right away just because laziness. So let's cut out all of our little pictures. Simply not bore you with the process of gluing all these in and writing in all these stats. I glued them all in, but I got a little lazy. I didn't feel like doing all the stats right now. I'd rather just go into working on my April TBR, which is exciting. I'm like, I'm a little worried. Am I gonna not have enough space in my journal for the rest of the year? I'm a little uneasy. I guess we'll see. Let me just show you for reference. This is my January, my February, and my March. I've been doing the same layout. So we're gonna do the big box for the TBR, a smaller section for stats, and then this little section for decoration. I don't know if I'm gonna get to doing the decorating today because it kind of takes a little while to sit on it and decide, you know, what kind of journal-y junk I have to put together. But I do have this washi tape that I got from my sister for Christmas. I think it was done by a local artist near her. And I thought it was just gonna be perfect for April since it's very springy. As you could see, it's just got these cool little insect patterns on it. I thought it was gonna be perfect, so we'll definitely use that how I have, you know, the little bit of washi tape underneath the date. So we're just gonna follow this same setup. And there is my April TBR. I've also enjoyed using these cute little bear tabs to write down the month. So we'll do that as well. Maybe we'll use this cute little panda bear for April. And I know my cursive is unimpressive to say the least. That is where I will end it. If you want to see more journal updates, make sure to stay tuned and watch my shorts. I like to try to get at least 1 or 2 journal update shorts out a week, depending on my schedule. Hopefully I will see you there. Okay, and we're done for now. Thank you guys so much for watching my journaling video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more content like this. If you enjoyed it, I'll make sure to do more long-form journaling videos in the future. I honestly love long journaling sessions, and if you want to see them, I might as well record them. Alrighty, everyone, have a great week. I'll see you next time. Peace out, Girl Scout, and goodbye.